नमस्कार, रवींद्र बोंद्रे चॅनलमध्ये आपलं मी सहर्ष स्वागत करत आहे. आपण चॅप्टर नंबर 2 सुरू केलेला आहे. लाईफ प्रोसेसेस इन लिव्हिंग ऑर्गॅनिजम्स पार्ट 1. इन दॅट वी हॅव टू सी टुडे एनर्जी प्रोडक्शन थ्रू anaerobic respiration. Now we have seen yesterday about aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. The respiration in presence of oxygen called aerobic respiration. We have seen the diagrammatic chart about this aerobic respiration. Now today we have to see anaerobic respiration. The respiration in absence of oxygen is called anaerobic respiration. Now here these are the steps of respiration or energy production through anaerobic respiration. Now here glucose is oxidized in absence of oxygen. So there are some bacteria which do not require oxygen for their energy production. So in absence of oxygen, this glucose is converted into pyruvic acid. That is called glycolysis. And then further steps are different. Up to pyruvic acid, the steps are same as in aerobic. After that, what happens? In absence of oxygen, a process called fermentation takes place. So, and here different products are formed, and these products are some organic acids, then alcohol and lactic acids. These are different products in different conditions, and they are formed by different microbes. For example, lactic acid is formed when higher animals, plants or some aerobic microbes, from them lactic acid is formed in absence of oxygen, or when there is depletion of oxygen in the surrounding. When we do exercise, at that time our oxygen demand is increased. At that time our muscles do anaerobic respiration and lactic acid is formed with the help of these muscle cells, and there is less amount of oxygen is formed or energy is formed, and hence we get tired, we feel tired. So this is one of the type. Second type here in fermentation, second type of fermentation, where with the help of some microbes different products are formed like vitamins, vinegar and other organic acids. Now there is a separate chapter for this. Chapter number 7, we shall see in that chapter detail about this fermentation process. And third process, yeast is a type of fungi. This yeast undergo fermentation, and here alcohol is formed. This alcohol is called ethyl alcohol, and the formula of ethyl alcohol is C2H5OH. And this ethyl alcohol is used in various industries widely. So that is all about what is called anaerobic respiration. So respiration in absence of oxygen is called the anaerobic respiration, and it takes place in microbes which do not require oxygen for their energy production, and hence as there is no oxygen, less amount of energy is formed. If you see overall reaction of this anaerobic respiration, then we found that only 2 molecules of ATPs are formed. Listen, C6H12O6. When one molecule of glucose is used, as there is no oxygen is utilized, in absence of oxygen, C2H5OH plus CO2, and only 2 ATP molecules are here. So if you want to balance two hydrogen 6 to 12 oxygen 4 and oxygen 2 and 4 6 is the balance equation. So in absence of oxygen, when one molecule of glucose is consumed, then ethyl alcohol, carbon dioxide and only two molecules of ATPs are formed. So if a question is asked that differentiate between aerobic and anaerobic respiration, then we can write that in aerobic respiration there is a oxygen utilization of oxygen. In anaerobic respiration there is no use of oxygen. Then in aerobic respiration 38 molecules of ATPs are formed, as we have seen in the earlier class, and in anaerobic respiration 2 molecules of ATPs are formed. So in aerobic respiration 38 molecules, in anaerobic respiration 2 molecules of ATPs are formed. So that is the major difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So anaerobic respiration is also takes place by seeds under certain conditions. When the soil is submerged with water or there is excess of water in soil, then the seeds which are sown in the soil, these seeds cannot use oxygen, and at that time they undergo this anaerobic respiration during a process called germination. They undergo what is called anaerobic respiration, and here they grow. So these are exceptional cases. Under certain conditions, in higher animals and plants, anaerobic respiration takes place. Otherwise, in normal conditions, they respire aerobically. And anaerobic respiration takes place only in the microbes which do not require oxygen for their energy production. So that is all about energy production through anaerobic respiration. Then we shall see next part. Some questions are asked in the book. We shall see the questions and then we shall see the next part. The questions which are asked on page number 16. These questions are under the heading "Can you tell?" The first question is, which type of cellular respiration performs complete oxidation of glucose? We have seen when one molecule of glucose is completely oxidized, at that time 38 molecules of ATPs are formed. In second type, when one molecule of glucose is consumed, at that time 2 molecules of ATPs are formed. So naturally, aerobic respiration is the type of cellular respiration which perform complete oxidation of glucose where oxygen is utilized. Then second, which cell organelle is necessary for complete oxidation of glucose? We have seen yesterday already the glycolysis, then Krebs cycle or the TCA cycle, and energy transformation or electron transfer chain system. Out of these two, second and third process, it takes place in mitochondria, and hence complete energy which is formed in the form of ATP is in the mitochondria. So mitochondria is the cell organ. Okay, so that is all about anaerobic respiration. Now we shall see energy from different food components, means except carbohydrate, because we have seen the simple form of carbohydrate glucose and with the help of glucose in presence of oxygen and in the absence of oxygen, how energy is formed under the heading aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Now, if carbohydrates or glucose is not available, then we have seen yesterday, second source of energy is protein. Then question arises, what are proteins? Now, what are proteins and how they are made up, or what is their source? Source of protein, as we have seen, source of carbohydrate as cereals. So, source of protein is pulses. Pulses means all dals. Pulses, then egg, milk and mushroom. These are some of the examples of the sources of proteins from which we get proteins. These are the sources. One point from the previous part, excess of carbohydrate or excess of glucose, which is formed in the body in animals or in particular human beings, it is stored in liver and muscles in the form of glycogen. Means excess of carbohydrate, simple form of carbohydrate is glucose. This glucose, which is excess in our body, is converted into glycogen, and this glycogen is stored in liver or muscles. And whenever required, this glycogen is converted into glucose. Then what is the difference between glucose and glycogen? Glucose is soluble in water. Glycogen is insoluble in water. And hence it can be stored in liver and muscles, and it can be used whenever required. So that is all about glucose. Now we shall see about proteins. We have seen sources of proteins. Then proteins from animals are called as first class proteins. Proteins from different animals is called first class proteins. Means meat is also source of protein. Meat. So proteins from animals is called first class proteins, and these proteins are also made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. And this nitrogen, which is present in proteins, it is used for growth, and hence proteins are used for growth and development of the body, because it contains nitrogen, and nitrogen is essential for our growth. Though there is nitrogen in the atmosphere 78%, but our body has no system to directly utilize the nitrogen as that of oxygen. So we have to take indirectly, and this indirect nitrogen, which is present in the form of compound in the proteins, is used for growth. Then when 1 gram of protein is used, when we consume 1 gram of protein, and then we get 4 kilocalories of energy. As we have seen yesterday, carbohydrate. Same. When we consume 1 gram of protein, we get 4 kilocalories of energy. Then when we consume proteins, what happens? These proteins are digested, and from that proteins different amino acids are formed. Near about 20 amino acids are known. These amino acids are formed, and amino acids are simple form of proteins. So this can be easily dissolved in water, and then these amino acids are carried by circulatory method, means blood, to all different organs and to cells. When they reach in the cell, again they are converted into different types of proteins. and these proteins are used by different organs according to their needs. Then which are the proteins which are formed in different organs? We shall see the list of proteins one by one. The first type of, so here amino acids, again listen, we consume protein, these proteins are digested in the body, amino acids are formed, they are simple form. These amino acids are carried to each and every cell via blood, and again they are converted into different proteins, but according to the need. So there are different proteins are formed in different organs. We shall see the list. The first type protein formed in the skin. It is melanin. Melanin is the type of protein which is formed in the skin. Means in the skin the protein which is present is melanin, and this melanin is used to give color. Our color, there are only two colors in human beings, black and white, and third color is black and white. All Indians are black and white. So this melanin gives color to the skin, and this melanin is a type of protein which is formed from amino acid. It is called skin. Then in bones, the amino acid which reach in the bones, it forms osin, a type of protein which is used for buildings of bones. Then blood, in the blood the protein which is formed is hemoglobin. And antibodies. Hemoglobin, we know hemoglobin is the carrier of oxygen, and hence the oxygen is carried through the blood to all parts with the help of this hemoglobin, which is the part of blood, and antibodies are formed. So hemoglobin and antibodies are types of proteins. They are formed only in the blood, not in other organs. Then next one is muscle, or the amino acids which reach in the muscles, they form proteins, and these proteins are called actin and myosin. Actin and myosin, and they bring the contraction and relaxation of muscles. म्हणजे आकुंचन पावणे, प्रसरण पावणे, muscles. It is possible due to these actin and myosin. Then pituitary gland. In pituitary gland, various hormones are formed. These hormones are formed with the help of these amino acids. These hormones are types of proteins. Then in pancreas, insulin is formed, which control on sugar level. It is nothing but a type of protein. Then trypsin, and in different cell. Along with this, in different cell, some proteins are formed which help for the formation of cell membrane. So these are different uses of proteins which are formed from these amino acids by different organs, and these organs produce different types of proteins according to their needs, and hence proteins are also valuable for our body. But as we have seen, carbohydrates, excess of carbohydrate are stored in the form of glycogen in liver and muscle. But proteins, excess of proteins are not stored in the body. There is no system. So these proteins are converted into ammonia, excess ammonia, and they are released outside from the body. But they are not stored. Sometimes, rarely, in some these proteins are converted into glucose. Conversion of proteins into glucose under certain condition takes place, and this process is called gluconeogenesis. 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 So this is exceptional case. Otherwise, proteins are not stored in the body. They are released or they are decomposed and they are converted to ammonia, and this ammonia is released from the body. This is all about animal proteins. In plant, there is a protein called rubisco. The name of protein is called rubisco, which is abundantly present in chloroplast, plant chloroplast. So that is all about the information about proteins. Then third source of energy, we know, that is called fats, or also called lipids. Fats or lipids. Lipids. Then what are lipids? We shall see. The definition of lipids. Lipids are the substances formed by special bonding between fatty acids and alcohol. Lipids are the substances formed by special bonds between fatty acids and alcohol. Then again, what are the sources of lipids? So lipids are, the sources of lipids are ghee, then edible oil, butter, etc. These are some of the sources, main, because these are used by us, and hence from these substances. Also the substances which yield are the seeds. Which seeds? Oil seeds. The seeds from which oil is formed. For example, soybean. For example, groundnut. For example, til. So these are some of the examples. Or cardamom. So these are the examples from which we get lipids. So these are sources of lipids. Then when we consume fats, then these fats are digested or converted into simple form. Which are the simple form? Fatty acids and alcohol. These are formed, and then these fatty acids and alcohol are absorbed by blood and they are carried to each and every cell, and then they are used for various functions. Then which are the functions of fats or fatty acids? The first function is formation of phospholipid. Phospholipid is present in plasma membrane. And this phospholipid is formed from fatty acids. Second function, fatty acids is used in the preparation of various hormones. Which are the name of hormones? Testosterone, progesterone, then aldosterone, estrogen. All these hormones are prepared from with the help of fatty acids. And then third use of this, the covering we know nerve cell which carry impulse from one part to the other. These nerve cells are made up of axons, and this covering of axon is made up of fatty acids. So covering of axon. So that is all about the uses of fats. So simple form of fats are fatty acids and alcohol, and these fatty acids are easily soluble. They are carried by blood after digestion of fat, and then they are absorbed and they are carried to each and every cell, and the cell uses according to their need. So some fatty acids are used in the preparation of phospholipid, which is used in the preparation of plasma membrane, hormones, and covering of axon in nerve cell. When we consume 1 gram of fat, at that time 9 kilocalories of energy is formed. So listen here, it gives double energy than carbohydrates and proteins. But as it is not the main source of our food or energy, so though it contains more energy, but it is not consumed as a regular food, or it is used only in small amount. So that is all about the fats. Then again, how fats are stored? Excess of fats are stored in adipose connective tissue. Adipose connective tissue. Excess of fats means carbohydrates and fats can be stored, only proteins are not stored. So that is all about the energy from different food components like proteins and fats. Then next part, again 2 questions are asked under the heading think on page number 70. The first question is, many times you can't eat hot food due to inflammation, जळजळ, or ulceration in mouth. We can say in Marathi तोंडात लागणे. At that time, when we try to engulf or bite the food, then there is pain. Why this occurs? It occurs due to deficiency of certain vitamins, and particularly vitamin B. There is a group B12 that is called B complex. B1 to B12. B1, B2, B3 and up to B12. This is called B complex. Deficiency of this, it causes what is called ulceration in mouth or inflammation. So that is called due to deficiency. Second question, some persons experience difficulty in night vision since their childhood or adolescence. म्हणजे काही व्यक्तींना लहानपणी किंवा मोठेपणी रात्री अंधुक दिसतो. It is due to lack of or deficiency of vitamin A. Vitamin A नसल्यामुळे हा प्रॉब्लेम होऊ शकतो. But it can be cured when we use the food like carrot, rich source of or vegetables, green vegetables. They are rich source of vitamin A. When they are used in our diet regularly, then what happens? This problem can be solved. Which one? Night blindness. That is called night blindness. So, the 4 type of nutrients. We have seen carbohydrates, we have seen proteins, we have seen fats or lipids, and now the 4th type of source of energy, and that is called vitamins. Now, vitamins are also types of nutrients which are required in very small quantity. They are not required on a large quantity, but they are essential. If they are not consumed, then we have seen night blindness, we have seen the sore or ulceration in mouth or inflammation takes place. So vitamins are of 6 types: A, B, E, K and B, C. Means A, B, C, D, E, K. These are 6 type of vitamins, but these vitamins are grouped into 2 according to their solubility in water. So Aerobic, vitamin A, D, E, K is the first group which are insoluble in water, and vitamin B and C is other group which are soluble in water. Vitamin C. Now today we are suffering from, large number of people are suffering from corona, and there is no particular vaccine or medicine to cure it. But there are some remedies, and one of the remedies is vitamin C. It is given from the lemon or orange, which increases the immunity power against corona. So these are vitamins, types of vitamins. Then we have seen yesterday or in previous lecture about the nicotinamide, or second one is NADH2. We have seen about NADH2 and FADH2. These are 2 coenzymes which are formed during the steps of aerobic respiration, like glycolysis, like electron transport chain reaction or TCA cycle. These both coenzymes are prepared from 2 types of vitamins, and these vitamins are riboflavin and nicotinamide. So NADH2 is prepared from nicotinamide, that is called vitamin B5, and FADH2, the coenzyme, it is prepared from riboflavin, also called vitamin B2. So these vitamin B1, B2, B3 up to B12 are called B complex vitamins. So that is all about the 4 type of nutrient vitamins. Then for today's homework, some questions are there. The first question is, what are lipids? We have seen. Second, many times you can't eat hot food due to inflammation or ulceration in mouth. Just we have seen. Third, some person experience difficulty in night vision since their childhood or adolescence, म्हणजे लहानपणी किंवा मोठेपणी. Fourth one, from where do we obtain the lipids, means source of lipids, we have seen. And the last question, when does seeds of plant perform anaerobic respiration? We have seen this. So that is all about today's topic. So stay home and stay safe. Thanks.